What's up, TLSS fam? I had quite a bit to talk about this weekend. I figured doing a video would be a little bit faster. It probably takes me two and a half hours, something like that, to create one of my posts. Maybe I'll stick to doing these videos now. Maybe I'll revert right back to create my post again. Not really sure. We're gonna have to see how this weekend goes, and I'll decide after that. First thing though, so yesterday we got our Cougar news. What happened? Why did we rally so high just to crash and end up where we was? Well, the reason I believe is the fact that we closed yesterday at 0.038. That's not this number. Well, it's my belief that we're going to need a daily close at or above here in order to have our next leg, have our next rally, and take us to that 11.5 cents that I've been anticipating for quite a while now. Honestly, I definitely thought it was going to happen before now, but I can't complain too much. It gave me plenty of opportunity to pack another bag, so to speak. I feel good about it. I haven't lost any faith in the company. I mean, this company is going to go places and it's going to take me with it. Ooh, I almost sexed out of that. You see that? That's crazy. Alright, I messed up already. I've done re-recorded this intro. Oh, man, that had to have been 50 freaking times by now. But y'all are just gonna have to suffer as much as me, and I'm not gonna keep re-recording this. I'm gonna stumble some. Hopefully I get better as the weekend goes on. It's kind of late right now. I haven't really slept much this week. Anyway, so like I said, we got our Cougar close. It wasn't at 4.25 cents. It was at 0.38 that we closed yesterday. So I did expect us to close around 4 cents today. That didn't quite happen, but that's okay. I mean, I'm alright with that. But I believe a large part of that was us not closing at that 4.25 cents yesterday. One thing I noticed today though is we had that same, let me put on the hour chart, we had that same 8:30 spike. Now that is blowing, it was blowing my mind. Like, why do we keep getting this 8:30 spike? And look, right here on my screen, there's another one. Alright, 8:30, boom. Spike, set a lower low. 8:30 spike, set a lower low. So that got me interested. I'll get back to Cougar and stuff here in just a minute, but I was really interested about this. So there's got to be a reason that this happens. From what I see, it has to do with dilution. That's the only answer that I can come up with of why we keep witnessing this. Alright, I can come over here. So I've got this group of, so there's 3 groups right here. These are the 3 things that I want to talk about. So I've already done some work on this chart for the purpose of this video, and I made them tools and callouts and stuff invisible. I can just make them visible real quick, and pretty nifty little thing that they've got going on there. So anyway, right here, let's just do this most recent. Well, today's was the most recent one. We haven't got news from today yet. Maybe Wednesday of next week, might get an AK. It's my expectation anyway. Claiming that dilution took place this week. Right here on the 19th of March, we had the spike. So I started digging what happened on the 19th of March. Right here on March 23rd, the last 8K that we got, dilution. Alright. I got a bunch of those open. So I was like, okay, coincidence maybe. And well, let me look back at the one before that. This was also an 8:30 spike. Now I don't know why price was down so low to start the day on pre-market, but we had a big spike. It just doesn't look the same, so I didn't highlight it in particular. But this one right here, 8:30, had another spike. This is the 16th of February. Come over here, 19th of February, it's an AK. Now this doesn't say that it was dilution, but in my opinion, some dilution took place for this to happen. Alright, get rid of that one. Let's go back to the one before that. What date is this on? 28th of January. January 28th, wow. What happened here? Look at that, dilution. What else we got? I don't know how many you want me to go through, really. Let's go a little further back. Not so recent. What happened right here? Why did we have this spike? The lower level. I guess it wasn't really a lower level in this one, but a downtrend ensued after that, right? What's this date here? 5th of January. Over here, 8th of January. What was it? Dilution. Let's go further back than that. Let's go to this one, because this was an awkward time. We're down here at our lows, and then all of a sudden we had this one random spike. I remember this day. I got so excited. I was like, finally, we're gonna actually start making some sort of run. And I got shut down fast on that one. 12th of November. Let's back up a little bit in here. 16th of November. What we got? This one doesn't claim dilution on it, I don't think, but is the Cougar announcement, right? Chances are there was some dilution took place. What about this one right here? 9th of October. 9th of October. Right there, boom. That's what it's going to be. I really feel dilution is the only answer for it. I'm not mad about the dilution. I know it is being used for the better of the company, which means the better of my bank account, right? I'm not mad about it at all, but at least I've made some sort of sense out of it. I don't have to sit here and question that anymore. When I see those 8:30 spikes, because they don't happen every day, but when they do, I will start expecting within 3 to 5 days, it looks like, from the time that it happened to the time the AK was filed, about 3 to 5 days. So I'm going to start expecting that until that doesn't hold true. I'm going to go ahead and make these all invisible again. So what we talk about next? Like, what direction is it that we're heading? Let me take a second to talk about Brave browser. Like, if you don't use Brave, Brave is so ahead of the curve. Brave browser is absolutely fantastic, and I can go to any website, anybody's post, like YouTube, maybe it's Twitch, I think is another one, obviously Reddit. So any content creator, I can go in there and I can tip them for their efforts. I can, boom, I want to give you $1, $5, $10, but it comes in this BAT, which is a crypto basic attention token. You get those, and you can, whatever you want to do with them, you can exchange them, you can hold them, you can withdraw them, you can, whatever it is you want. And that's a really awesome thing that they provide. you can get all kind of crypto extensions in your browser. You can link your wallets to this, you know, if you're into that, to this browser. There's so much that you can do. Highly recommend Brave browser. Anyways, so where are we going next? You know, I've been talking about 11.5 cents for what seems like forever, and you know, when I make some sort of call, I don't expect it necessarily to happen that day, not even really that week. But when I originally made the call, we was working on it. See, here's another thing about Brave. So I get these ads, and I've set it up to get, you know, so many, you know, boom, just like that, ads open, close it out, and I just earn money just from doing that. I get paid a basic attention token for each ad that I click on. There is no other ads. They swap them to relevant ads to what it is you're currently viewing, as opposed to keeping a record of your like search history and so on and so forth. It's just relevant to what it is you're searching. You don't have to click on it if you don't want to, but if you do, you see how fast it was, and you get paid in basic attention tokens just for doing that. And where was I? All right, so I was talking about this 11.5 cents. You know, when I first mentioned it, we was in this run up. May have been this one. I can't remember exactly when I first mentioned it, but we was in an uptrend, right? So I made that call as my next higher high. It might take till June. I mean, I don't really, who knows? I don't try to guesstimate a time frame on anything. Sure, I have ideas in my head, and I'm not afraid to share them as long as, you know, it's understood that it's just an idea and it's based off absolutely nothing. So I call that 11.5 cents as my next high, and then all of it, you know, obviously we hit a huge downtrend after that. Lost a lot of the gains. You know, I'm still up from my average a pretty good bit. Maybe that's why I'm not as mad as some of you out there, you know, but I also, even if I was down, which, I mean, there was a point being invested in TLSS where I was down 78. No, I think I finally broke 80%, that I was down in it. A month later, I was up 35%. I mean, it was one of the craziest things I experienced. I mean, for so long, I just wrote it out and wrote it out and wrote it out, and I knew it was going to do something. When it was going to do it, I had no idea. But when it did, it happened fast. I'm not realizing that it had broke the 236, and that was going to cause it to moon shoot, so to speak. And you know, I just found that out this week, but it was crazy. So thankful. I bared with it, you know. I had bought in back in June up 7 some cents, you know. And I constantly, you know, I bought the dip for 3-4 months, whatever it was. You know, it was just like every time I buy the dip, I'd watch it dip another 20%. Well, then I'd buy that dip. I wasn't afraid to do it. So I made that 11.5 cent call. I have no idea when that's going to hit. Still don't. But I've also, in some pretty recent posts, I've been calling out 2.5 cents. But really, it's between 2 and 3 cents. I'm not exactly sure where that's going to fall. I can't get a bunch of stuff to line up right there at the same number, but I can get a bunch of stuff to line up in that range. So that's why I'm so adamant that possibility is still there. And until we have our daily close above 4.25 cents, that possibility is absolutely going to remain. So let's try to figure out which way is this going to actually start trending. You know, was the Cougar acquisition enough to let us have our, you know, overdue rally? You know, or was it not quite enough because of all the months leading up to it? You know, the false spikes and anticipations of the news to be released, so on and so forth. Maybe there will be another, you know, a continuation of the downtrend, until another acquisition is confirmed. Now, why did they dilute today if they acquired Cougar yesterday? I think that's a pretty good question. You know, is there already another acquisition in the works? You know, from the talks that there's been with DOGE, you know, from the reports that's been filed, so on and so forth, we know that they're planning to acquire more. They're probably in the talks with more if that's not already even confirmed, but maybe they're already closer to acquiring a new company than we even imagine. That could be what that dilution from today is. Or maybe they're just planning ahead and trying to get as much capital as they can, so when the opportunity presents itself, they're ready this time. I'm not really sure which one that is, but so are we waiting for a new acquisition or whatever it may be, contract, or was this enough and we just didn't get our close yesterday where we wanted it, so now we're just back testing, right? That's all we did was back test this resistance right here. We flipped it to support. Now I had mentioned that in this comment in the weekly discussion thread, right? Looking for it to retrace between 0375 and 039 for the next leg up, which it did. I mean, I think it dropped. I think the low was 0375. Granted, we didn't get that next leg up quite, you know. But and then I called out if it drops below 037, we'll probably backtest 033 to 035. So what happened today, right? We get that dilution spike right here. The low right there was 37 cents. The next hour we broke that 37 cents. Well, where did we land? Right there, 34.5, I guess. 34.0347. I don't know what's going on with me talking tonight. I am not doing a good job. Alright, so just barely under 3.5 cents. Right where I thought we should be. Hopefully that's it. Hopefully we just turn that into support right there, and we will continue on. I would much rather see structures like this. I mean, there's obviously no gaps left to be filled in this, and that's super important. I've talked about that numerous times. We leave these gaps. It can't continue up too high. I mean, obviously it can, but that's that much more you're going to lose when it comes and closes it, which is always going to do. Some people would say it doesn't have to, it's most likely that it will, but it doesn't have to. I disagree. I believe 100%, whether it's, up here at that gap, yeah, it's going to get closed. Whether it's down here at this gap, I don't see a gap right there, but, it's going to close. That's my opinion. That's from my experience. I don't have a lot of experience. Some of you listening to me right now would probably have at least double, triple, maybe more than that, the experience that I have. But in my experience, that's always been the case. It's always closed down, and hopefully the next uptrend, if we're in it now even, we don't really leave those. Hopefully we can continue up and down, up and down, up and down, backtesting these supports, flipping resistances. Hopefully we can do that and build a strong structure up to where our lower, our new bottom will be significantly higher than where we're at. 300% is pretty good, from the absolute bottom to where we're dancing around at. 300% is fantastic. But I want another 300%. I don't want our next bottom be 4 cents, and then the next spot will be at 5 cents. I want a strong structure on our way up. We get all the way up to that 11.5 cents, come back down maybe 8, 8.5, somewhere in there, and that be our new bottom. And just leave all of this alone. Be done with it. Move on. Finished. We'll just have to see. So what direction is it that we're heading? I've got a pretty strong case for a downtrend and an uptrend. I'll go ahead and just get this. I hate to even look at this because I'm so tired of this area. I don't want to see it no more. But like I said, until we get that 4.25 cent daily close, chances are we're just going to be there. First off, why do I keep calling out 4.25 cents? Like what's the significance of, I put it on the 4 hour. What is the significance of 4.25 cents? Like why is it that's what I'm calling out? Now, so my dogs chewed up my mouse. I've got, well, really they're bears. I mean, they're the biggest freaking puppies I have ever witnessed in my life. And they eat everything. They almost ate my motorcycle helmet the other day. Almost ate it completely brand new. I hadn't even put it on my head yet. Been wanting this helmet for months. And they almost ate the whole dang thing. This mouse is so hard to use though. So the 4.25 cents, like I'm talking about it because, well, where does 4.25 cents put us? Let me just edit this real quick. Settings. 125. Alright. It's been a minute. That's been pretty good. I mean, really, I guess 4.2. But I'm still leaning for 4.25 cents. It might be more like 4.2 cents. But it's been all the way back since the 2nd of March since we had a daily close above that number. Look at the support that we had found at that level here. A little bit of resistance right there. Once we broke through it, we was able to keep moving up. So not a ton of history at that level, but recently it's been pretty significant level. So that's why I'm expecting us to have to close here or above in order to have her out. So which direction is it that we're heading? We've got this ugly group right here that I'm about to start turning things on it, and I'm going to explain why I feel like I have a pretty strong case for this number right here to be hit. Right? Go ahead and take this off my screen. First thing is good old reliable Fibonacci. I don't even know which. You can rearrange these and stuff, and I don't know if I did to get it in a certain order before this video, but let's just see here. All right, so yeah, most recent one I can pull from. I can't really pull from here yet because I'm not quite sure that this is the bottom. What if it was to continue on? I don't want to give myself any false numbers, so I'm just going to use the last known swing high, swing low that we had. And looking at this, it's beautiful. We came back down. We hit this 618 level. Well, really, when you're trying to measure the uptrend, you're gonna have these extensions, on the top. This number right here, this 618, would actually be the 382, and that's the inverse of it. But displaying it this way, and we're bouncing right off that. It's perfect. I really like what I see there with that. It's evidently respecting these levels. I mean, the 382, it respected it. 618, it's respecting it. Now it's kind of bouncing back off the, testing that 382 again, seeing if it can flip it. But with that number, technical SATA, with that number, the 1.618, right there, 2.5 cents. It's just a good chance for it, Like, what else do we have at 2.5 cents that we can kind of make our decision from, you know? Let me just go ahead. I don't want to lose that one. I thought about turning that off, but that was probably a bad idea. So I'm going to put this line in here, right? Set it at 0.25. And like I said, I don't know that it's going to be 0.25 exactly. I feel like it's going to be between 2 and 3 cents. But just to meet it in the middle, you know. So what's going on at this 2.5 cents? And why have I been calling it for so long? Well, it's been a significant resistance. Just in the history of the chart, you can see there, significant support there. It broke through it and was able to take off there. You know, it's just fought and fought and fought, couldn't break through it on that one. Almost reached up there to it, you know, pretty dang close, over 2 cents anyways. Broke through it there and we could continue. And we haven't came back and retested that since that last breakthrough. You know, that's kind of a big deal if you ask me. That was the first thing I had noticed when I first made the call was this right here, the amount of significance that this level has carried, and the fact that we never back tested it. You know, that was exactly how I made this 3.3 cent call. I was looking back, and 3.3 cents has been a significant level for the history of the chart. And once we had this rally right here, it never came back tested it. You know, once it was taken off, like it was just taken off. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for this one right here. I just need to skip ahead to it. This thing, let me turn my dilution back on, right? Wow, what is up with that? That's crazy. That 830 spike, followed by the downtrend, caused this wave. Now, so typically in our uptrends, we have these 5-wave structures. This is on the hourly chart. You can't really see it too great. Just know this is one wave right here. So we had our 1, 2, you don't count this one either. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was our 5-wave uptrend. And that's kind of been the history for TLSS. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? I think this one too, the big May pump. 1, 2, no, actually we probably just started from here and just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's just kind of how the uptrends go with this stock in particular. I mean, that's a typical structure. Also, those are always tend to be always followed by an ABC correction. Like here, this is, I don't even know if you consider this an ABC correction, but maybe you can. Just the C leg didn't come down too long. So you got A, B, C for a lower low. I mean, I guess really if you count this one, it probably is an ABC. Then you got this guy right here. You got A, B, C correction. On this one, A, B, C correction. On this one, you know, on our recent one, we have A, B, C correction. On this one, we have A, B, C correction. Alright, so now back, this got me excited. I didn't notice this until, I mean, I was about right before I started the video. I started pulling these up from my last post, just so I didn't have to keep pulling fibs from on this chart today. You know, I just used what I already had. But what really tripped me out when I seen that spot, it just really rung a bell, and I was like, I know I had noticed this one, but I can't even find it now. That's it right there. So we, you know, Yeah. We come up here, we hit this 6 1. That just doesn't. I swear it was clearer than that. It was the one before this. Nope, that had been it. So we come up, we hit that 618. Bam. Dilution took place at the 618. Now I don't know if there's any more like that. I could sit here and keep pulling fibs, and I could probably find another. That's pretty simple. Let me just go ahead and do one real quick. I'm just gonna do this one right here. See what it takes me to. I'm gonna try to be accurate with it. Oh, look at that. 618. We really almost came to the 702. It's pretty crazy. They timed that at the 618, right? What about this one right here? Drag that dude over there. This guy over here. Almost came to that 618. That's pretty crazy. I lost my spot now. Getting all sidetracked. I got excited about that. Like that blew my mind. You hit that 618 dilution for the 5th and final wave out of there. As I'm flipping through these two, this is an awesome representation of what's going on. You know, I've pulled fibs from this, and some of the targets I've picked are because of that spike right there. But you rule it out, maybe it was just a fluke. There was a lot of gap in here. Really, none of this was traded. It was at this level and way up at this level. So to me, this is probably a little bit more accurate of a swing to pull your fib from. So anyway, so you pull it from there. You got your swing high, you got your swing low. Now I'm talking about perfect at that 618. And that's crazy. So we come back and we test the 236. Can't break can't break 0.5, which is so with Fibonacci, if you can't break the 0.5, then you're gonna come back down. Like you're gonna crash, so to speak. And that's really what happened here. That was a crash. Not just a little downtrend. I mean, that was a pretty significant crash. We lost a lot when that happened. But that was crazy to me too. Perfect, right at this 0.618. So 2.5 cents seems pretty significant. So now start turning on my fibs here. Like I showed you, the 1.618 lands right there, 2.5 cents. Well, what else we got? We got this one. 1.618, 2.5 cents. But I just locked it. What am I doing here? Alright, this one looks kind of funny, right? Because we had this big spike. So why didn't I use it? Why didn't I incorporate it? Well, I mean, I have, and I do. The thing with Fibonacci though is, man, you can really, they say you can only do it from left to right. They say, if you're going to do your Fibonacci extensions as opposed to your retracements, then you got to do it trend based. You got to follow a couple waves before you set your extensions. But I've learned that, let me just go ahead and close this. I ain't going to make money this time, guys. I've learned that you can pretty much do it any way you want to an extent. So I do it this way, and I see that it really respected these retracement levels. So with that, I don't think that this is a bad pull for the fib. Also, I mean, this dotted line right here is the trend line, that it bases the Fibonacci off of. And so resistance, we flipped it, support, pretty good trend line going on there. So I feel good about that. But 236 takes us right there, 2.5 cents. What about another one? Alright, so let's pull this dude. Right there, the 702, 2.5 cents. 702, you know, blockchain backer is the one that introduced the 702 to me. I had noticed a few times, quite a few times, that the charts would kind of react in between the 618 and 716. But since that's, you know, since there's no Fibonacci number there, I didn't pay much mind to it outside of that. Blockchain backer swears by the 702. In his opinion, it's more significant than the 618. But really, they're about equal in significance. Your chart's gonna pretty much always fall somewhere right in between the two. That's 702, 2.5 cents. It's just another reason that is a possible level. And then I got another one right here. And that's the same one I bought from here. 2.5 cents. So I just did that one twice. What else? So I did this bar. So I found a previous fractal. In my last post I was talking about fractals and how I really wasn't able to use any of them because of the lack of history, and there hasn't been similar structures. But I was playing around with them more, and there kinda has been, right? So I took first thing I did was I took a fractal and I picked it from this low here. So a fractal is basically just a fraction of the chart, and you can copy a piece of the chart and paste it. You can mirror it, you can scale it, you can rotate it, you can almost anything you want to with it, and you can try to compare structures to previous structures easier that way, as opposed to, well, let me put a line in from here, that's pretty crazy. Put a line in from here. It's a lot easier to just do what they call a fractal. In TradingView, it's actually a bars pattern. We got these things over here. Price range, date range, so on and so forth, but you get a bars pattern. So what I did, let me just go ahead and just simulate it real quick. I took this bars pattern from that point all the way over to the tip of this, right? So that gave me this to copy. I can place that wherever I want to. You can mirror it, you can flip it, you can do all kinds of stuff with it. You can scale it, make it tiny, you can make it huge, whatever it is you might need to do. Now the value in that is, like, with the amount of shares that are outstanding now compared to then, with all the stimulus that's been printed recently, there's a lot of different variables as to why you would want to scale one of those. Just using the most recent example, when I say, like, about the stimulus and the outstanding shares and so on and so forth. Alright, so I went ahead and I did that copy and I scaled it in here because this does look like this, right? Sure, there's a little extra wave in there. Your chart's never gonna follow a fractal perfectly, but it will resemble it, and it will still test those levels. If this was my high here, then it should be my high there before the next wave. If this was the top, then it should be about the top there. If nothing's really matching up, then chances are that fractal is not going to work out for that spot. Either maybe you don't have a fractal, or maybe you just need to find a different one. Anyway, I'm just rambling now. So I put this on here. Obviously, I don't know where to, I could have based it at this low point here. There are plenty of different things I could have did. Let me make sure it's in the back. Yeah, it is. But I just wanted to kind of match up what's going on, because it was this structure right here, right? We had this low, we had this spike. Let me freeze this again. What happened here? We had this low, we had this spike. It's just pretty crazy to me. So I wanted to try to make this fit and see if any sense was made of it. We didn't spike. Let me turn this auto off again. We didn't spike as high as that May run did, but our second level did kind of come out right. That's right on it. It's still following the same structure. Look at the hump in it, at that bottom. The fact that right there, we had this long wick on this one, and we was having them on there as well. A lot of things was just kind of matching up on it. Right here, scaling this out to where it kind of matches in there pretty good. Really kind of made that match in there pretty good, If it really is following this fractal, which it could at any time just venture away from this, but maybe it's actually following it, and I'm gonna make a plan for if it does. Which my plan I already kind of put in place today, and I set me a buy order for 2.5 cents. I had 4 Fibonacci's tell me that it was going to be 2.5 cents. There's been a history of support and resistance at 2.5 cents. I put this fractal in here that matches up astonishingly well. And where does it take you to? It's battling 2.5 cents. Pretty nice. There's not really too much else for me to talk about with the 2.5 cent level. That's what I'm seeing with it. That's why I'm making that call, and that's why I'm not ruling it out, at least until we get that 4.25 daily close. So now the argument for the other side, the one I'm excited about, the one I think is more likely based off the the direction of the company. As my post showed, revenue has been pretty fantastic in a charting standpoint. Growth, pretty gem of growth in there. Enterprise value outpacing the ones that. So Y charts, it actually put other companies in here to compare it to. I didn't actually pick these. I don't know what it bases it off of. Similar. Oh man, Chicken Alfredo really gets to me. Alright, so I don't know where they base it from. Evidently there's some comparison to be had with these companies, but it's kind of outpacing them as far as the enterprise value goes. Fundamentally, it's just kind of there. So I'm really confident about this 11.5 cent mark. When it takes place, I'm not really sure, but it will. At some point, it's gonna hit there. It just will, in my opinion. All right, so what case can we make for it though? Right, look at that, I got another bars pattern here. Something. Well, let's open up a fib on this dude real quick. Let me change it to the 4-hour chart so I don't have to move around as much. So if we pull, gosh man. See, so I did pull from up here. And the reason I pulled from up here is because this is the entire bear market, right? So if I want to set me a target for how I want to, my exit strategy or what have you, then my opinion is you take it from the entire bear market. You don't just grab this one little piece right here and say, oh, I'm going to get out when it reaches this. I'm long in this. If it takes 3 more years for me to hit my measly little target, then I'm just going to wait 3 years and I'm going to have a whole lot more shares than I would otherwise. So we pull this here, and this is kind of a long shot that it's going to continue to follow this. But you see how it's respecting that 236, right? That was another thing I had started noticing. On this one, for example. So we hit the 236, 1, 2, third time we broke out. On this one, right? So we hit it 1, 2, third time we broke out. On this one, we hit it once there and broke out, but we came right back down. Why is that? Well, because it wasn't ready to break out yet, So 1, 2, breakout. Or I guess you could consider that 3, but 1, 2, breakout. On this one, that's kind of a representation of the same one. Right here we had 1, 2, breakout. And I'll show you that because now we've had 1, 2, breakout. I feel like that can really be the case there. The next time we hit 7 cents, we will be smashing through it with a vengeance. Straight up. I lost my spot here. This is showing you 11 cents right here. But like I said, this is of the entire bear market. It takes you up to 11 cents. What do we got here? What? So we pull it from this one, right? Well, where are we? 786 retracement level, 11.5 cents. And really, we can we'll hit anywhere in there before we retrace a little bit and come up to the 1.618. I'm not saying that that's going to happen here, but just a typical structure on a Fibonacci. You'll come up into here between the 702 and 786, not across the 786, but in between 702 and 706, you retrace to the 0.618 or 0.5, and then you'll continue your rally. You don't want to break that 0.5. If you break 0.5, chances are you're going to at least test that 236 again. So you come up here between 702 and 786, you get your 11.5 cents. Do a little bit more recently, right? So the last big spike we had takes us perfect 11.5 cents, 1.618. What about this? From our last high to our lowest low, 1.618. I'm talking about perfect 11.5 cents. This is the most significant Fibonacci retracement that I pulled just because it's the most recent. It's the most accurate in terms of how a Fibonacci is designed. Once a high gets taken out, or once a new swing high and swing low is set, you, by textbook, are supposed to move that Fibonacci along with it, and then set your next price point. But that's more, in my opinion, that's more for day traders, shorts, whatever it is. But I didn't break, I didn't break any of the so-called rules when it comes to Fibonacci when I pulled this one. and it's the most recent one that I can pull. Brings us perfect right there, 11.5 cents. Oh, also, isn't it kind of weird that right there between the 618 and the 712 was where we had our spike yesterday? Pretty ironic. So now, this bar's better. Alright, so I pulled this one. What if we're fixing to do this structure again? You know, what if we're fixing to get our 5-wave structure and finally have our rotation? Like, so where does that take us to? Now, there's not really much I can base it off of. It's just what could it look like? You know, we set our low at our low. Well, it's already followed them pretty dang good. You know, typically I won't bring it to the front and maybe see a little bit. Typically I don't use structures fractals if there isn't much structure for me to put it on. But this one's not scaled. It's not. I can literally take it like to resource size. It didn't change. This is this fractal exactly. Put it right here. It's followed pretty good so far. Oh man, what did I just do? Look at that. Grab it over here, be safer. Just to give you an idea of what that looks like in there. Pretty sexy in my opinion. So maybe we are just kind of having this one little. So where does that put us on our Fibonacci, right? If I pull it from up here, I hit that low. Doesn't actually really tell us anything. See how else I can do it. You know, so what if we get this out of the way some? That did it there. Does this tell us anything? Ah, sure does. You know, this is my first time seeing this. I didn't really know if this was gonna work in my favor or not. We just hit perfect on a 702. You guys see that? I'm talking about we hit perfect on it. And that's fantastic. This very well could just be the chart reacting. This may not have anything to do with a news release. This may not have anything to do with dilution necessarily. I do believe dilution took place today. But right there, and that's just got to be what it is. But we hit perfect on that 702, and that's a beautiful, beautiful sight. So maybe we are. Let me put it back on the 4 hour. So maybe we are just kind of going to come down, test the 786, and progress on out of here. If we was to do that, like, so what would we be looking at? What would we be looking at? No way. Take this on down here. That's on 11.5 cents. Well, if all this other stuff lines up to 11.5 cents, the start of this is kind of lining up pretty well. I don't know. I'll find out at the same time y'all do, but it's looking pretty good, you know, to me. Turn this back off. So we kind of went over a lot today. This, like I said, this is my first video. I have a couple more that I need to get out this weekend. If I just need to switch over to doing posts, just let me know if I'm unbearable to listen to. I know this has been kind of a long one. Think of how long this would have took me just creating a post, you know. I was able to show you a few more things doing it with this video. You know, you witnessed me put the Fibonacci's on here. maybe this was a good thing. Maybe I just sounded like a complete moron and you couldn't even bear with me through all this, you know. Who knows? Thank you if you did. I appreciate you taking the time to listen as I've taken the time to create it. We'll just have to see. Just let me know. You know, if I don't hear anything about it, you know, negative about the video, tomorrow I'll put out a couple videos. I want to talk about the stock market in general. I posed this question in the thread today, asking about the ISA deadline, and how it might, or how the stock market might react to it. I mean, I said correlation in the comment, and yeah, it's a correlation, but at the same time, obviously it is, because it's ISA and it's the stock market, so they correlate. But what type of, you know, the question really was meant as what type of reaction, if any, is there to that deadline? So that's one of the things I want to talk about, you know, when I'm talking about the market as a whole. Everybody's expecting this market crash, and so we're going to kind of dive into that a little bit. I also want to talk about, I'm not going to spoil everything. Alright. Thank you for bearing with me. Hopefully I did alright with this one. Just remember, I am not a financial advisor, and this is in no way investment advice. But whether good or bad, I'll be here sharing my intentions with full transparency until the end. I mean it when I say that, guys. Like, I'm gonna be fully transparent with y'all. I'm not gonna make a trade and not inform you that it did. I'm not gonna lead you to believe one thing while I actually believe something else. You know, I'm gonna represent both the good. I'm gonna represent the bad. And we're gonna get through this together, or you're gonna bail out. I'm not gonna be the one that bails out. Hopefully you take this ride with me, and thank y'all again.